Before Jon Snow is ever called king, he forges the one alliance that makes his rule possible. In a broken hut at Hardhome, Jon ends a conflict that has lasted for centuries. One that's already cost him friends, the woman he loved, and turned the North into the perfect breeding ground for the most dangerous force the world has ever seen. So why was this the exact moment Jon Snow became king? What did he say, and why did it work? More importantly, what can we learn from it?
I do know some things.
It all starts with intention, what Jon wants. As Jon Snow sails towards Hardhome, he isn't greeted as a savior. He's met with stares of contempt, confusion, and a looming hostility. The mission wasn't even fully supported by his own men. Many in the Night's Watch see the Free Folk as the enemy. Helping them feels like betrayal. And yet, Jon makes the trip anyway. Why? Because he's already done the math. Jon believes everyone north of the Wall is going to die, and when they die, they will make the future fight that much harder. He learned as much from Mance Rayder, a man he fought against and killed, but respected.
So, you know how I got moon worshippers and cannibals and giants to march together in the same army?
No.
I told them we were all going to die if we don't get south.
He understands the mechanics of the threat, that every death is a recruitment for the Night King. So Jon makes a decision that's actually rooted in outcomes. If he can move the Free Folk south of the Wall, he changes the balance of the coming war. This is the mark of a real leader. Jon is not reacting to the present, he's acting for a future most people can't see yet. Jon's done this before. Like when he leads men to deal with the mutineers at Craster's Keep. He sees the future others can't.
We need to ride north and kill them all.
We just went over this, boy. Justice can wait.
It's not about justice. I told the wildlings we had over 1,000 men at Castle Black alone. Carl and the others know the truth as well as we do.
But Hardhome is different. The stakes are different. Mance told Jon he united 100,000 wildlings together. That is a continent-changing army. Jon doesn't want that army to join the Night King. That's who Jon sees as the real enemy. An undying necromancer who has the patience to wait 10 centuries to get what he wants. Jon has to figure out, how can I convince people who see me as the enemy that we're not?
We're allies.
You fucking traitor.
The moment Jon lands, he's blocked. The camp is full of people who don't care what he has to say, and they never will. They are dominated by hate, fear, vengeance, or simply driven by instincts of protection against a known enemy that has killed them and theirs for hundreds of years. This is why it's important, very important, to have a referral. Without Tormund, Jon never even gets the meeting. Tormund is the bridge. He's the proof of trust that Jon doesn't personally have. Jon was able to convince Tormund, which gave him hope, but the first person they talk to makes it really clear they will not be able to convince everyone. But we're here. We're doing this, and it's way too late to turn back now. When Jon stands before the leaders of the Free Folk, he has to convince some of the most fierce people on the planet, people who think he's their enemy, to join him. What he does is smart. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't make excuses or justifications. He doesn't try to be charming or liked. None of this is necessary to achieve his goals anyway. In life, these things typically help you, and they make it way easier to get the deal done. But when both factions have been at war for such a long time, sameness and likability are simply impractical and a waste of time. Instead, Jon goes straight to the most powerful motivator humans have: survival.
This isn't about friendship. This is about survival. This is about putting a 700-foot wall between you and what's out there.
I mean, it's the reason the Free Folk are gathered together in the first place. Let's not forget, this is still a set of tribes. Mance united them all, but they still have their segmented loyalties. Jon's best move is when he shares a gift he can give to each tribe leader. This addresses them more individually. Dragonglass is a defense against their greatest threat, the White Walkers. It's something they never had before. With this move, he signals two things. Number one, running isn't your only option. And two, he's a man who has solutions you've never even thought of. This gesture also creates curiosity. This is ideal because things like hate can be pushed aside, even if it's just for a moment, at least until you've heard him out.
I knew Mance Rayder. He never wanted a war with the Night's Watch. He wanted a new life for his people, for you. We're prepared to give you that new life.
If
you swear you'll join us when the real war begins. But I'm asking you to think about your children now. They'll never have children of their own if we don't band together. The long night is coming, and the dead come with it. No clan can stop them. The free folk can't stop them. The Night's Watch can't stop them, and all the Southern Kings can't stop them. Only together. All of us. And even then it may not be enough, but at least we'll give the fuckers a fight.
This proposal aligns with what they were already trying to do. In a way, this honors Mance's legacy, finishing what he started, getting the free folk south of the Wall. What Jon is doing here is he's aligning their interests. Coming south of the Wall benefits us both. He also is reframing their centuries-long war. Our fight is trivial compared to the fight to come. Jon also tries to reduce resistance by making it really easy to say yes. I have ships that can take you south right now. Jon arrives as an enemy, but with his referral from Tormund, he gets a chance to speak. He doesn't threaten or beg or try to be liked. He presents facts. There is us or there is death. He presents this with conviction that this is our reality. This sets up a decision for the free folk. Stay in the north with this looming threat, or take a chance with their enemy that doesn't seem like they really want to fight anymore. Either way, the free folk retain their agency, and that's why it lands. This moment changes Jon's trajectory from Lord Commander to King. And again, none of this happens without alliances. Without Tormund, he doesn't even get a chance to speak. The value of a strong referral cannot be overstated. But the free folk are hearing what Jon has to say, and what he says makes sense. This free folk gentleman even acknowledges this king-like move.
At least with King Crow, there's a chance.
This moment at Hardhome is where Jon transforms entirely. He becomes a unifier, a strategist, a leader who can bring enemies together under a shared vision. And this kind of leadership is exactly what kings do. And people follow kings, people follow leaders when they don't have to. But of course, not all of them do follow him.
That's our enemy. That has always been our enemy.
The downside of choice is that sometimes people choose the course that's not in their best interest. But because the conversation happened, the new framing has been proposed, when under the gun, so to speak, people will come around, especially when it affects them or they see it with their own eyes. So what's our takeaway here? What can we learn? Well, first, influence isn't about being liked, it's about being clear. Second, people don't move for ideals, they move for outcomes, especially outcomes that affect them personally. And third, the fastest way to unite enemies is not persuasion, it's a reframing of the threat. Jon won over the free folk by telling them the truth in the right frame and with the right people by his side. Though he didn't know it yet, this alliance will help him later in so many different ways. The free folk help him retake Winterfell, they reinforce the wall before it falls, and they fight the dead during the long night, which is what they're promising to do in joining him here. Before Jon Snow was ever called king in the North, he acted like one, because titles come later, influence comes first. That's why this moment, in a broken hut at Hardhome, is when Jon Snow became king. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more stories about power, persuasion, and why some people win and others lose, go go ahead and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.